In this video we'll see how volcanic eruptions start the process of rock formation, how different types of rock are formed, and how rocks ultimately melt and return to the pool of molten magma under the crust. In the first stage of the rock cycle, molten lava erupts from volcanoes and begins to cool, forming solid rock. These types of rock are known as igneous, meaning made by fire. They are hard and crystalline. The size of the crystals in igneous rocks depends on how slowly the lava cools. The slower the cooling, the bigger the crystals that form. Large crystals are formed in rocks such as granite that have cooled slowly, where lava has been forced into cracks underground. Where lava has cooled much more quickly above ground, the crystals in the rock structure are much smaller and sometimes need a microscope or a magnifying glass to be seen at all. The effects of wind, rain, and the heat of the sun cause solid rock to split, forming progressively smaller pieces which break away from the solid rock face. The scree slopes found on the sides of steep hills and mountains are the results of weathering of this kind, carrying the pieces of rock down the mountainside. The pieces of rock are weathered and eroded further, being tumbled along by streams and rivers and transported into the sea, where they settle to the bottom of the sea as sediment. Layers of sediment build up over millions of years, compressing the sediment underneath so that the grains of rock stick together, forming sedimentary rocks. In sandstone, the individual rock grains and the different layers which have been deposited can often be seen. This soft rock is easily shaped and carved, making it a popular building material, but structures made of sandstone are worn away and eroded by wind and weather more quickly than structures made of harder rock. The remains of sea creatures are buried in the layers of sediment and preserved as fossils, which are often found in sedimentary rocks such as limestone, another popular building material. This desert landscape shows where softer sedimentary rock has been worn away, leaving columns of harder igneous rock behind. These columns of igneous rock were once the insides of volcanoes. Where the lava has cooled and solidified has now been revealed, as the softer surrounding sedimentary rock has been removed by weathering and erosion. As the layers of rock are pressed deeper into the earth, they are exposed to high temperatures and to very high pressures from the layers of rock above. Such conditions cause changes to the rocks. They become harder and with more clearly defined thin layers. We call these metamorphic rocks. Slate is a good example of a metamorphic rock. It can be easily split into thin layers to form roofing tiles, and being hard, it is resistant to the weather. Slate has been mined extensively, and it is well worth going to a slate mine tour if you ever get the chance to see how the slate was extracted, turned into tiles, and transported around the world. As the layers of rock are pressed deeper into the earth by the layers of rock above them, they can become heated sufficiently by the molten rock in the mantle so that they melt, forming magma ready to start the rock cycle again.